All right. Here's what I came to say. I met my wife in 1977. Some of y'all weren't even thought of in 1977. And we got married in 1985. So you might say, well, what were you doing between 1977 and 1985? And most of the answer is none of your business, right? There were multiple layers, John, of issues that had to be worked through and resolved. But the one that I will share with you is I was trying to get some money, because in 1977, I was still driving that Cadillac that I could not afford. In 1977, if I had a flat tire, I'd have to get a payday loan. I mean, 1977, when I met my wife, on the one hand, it was love at first sight. On the other hand, I was completely broke, and my image was so large. I had been on Gil Noble's TV show. You remember Gil Noble? I was driving a nice Cadillac. I was on the front page of the Star-Ledger. I was giving speeches. I worked with Jesse Jackson, but I was broke.
All right, Doctor. Jesus.
I was going to nice restaurants. I was hanging around with the who's who, and Ken Gibson, first black mayor of Newark, was my friend. I was absolutely broke. How could I tell this woman that I had already told we were going to get married that I was broke? Every time we went to a restaurant, I'd take out my credit card, and before the waitress came back, I would pray, Lord, help it go through.
Jesus.
I would hope she was never at my apartment on a Tuesday or Thursday night, because that's when the bill collectors called. How could I explain that? So I was styling and profiling. I was faking it till I started making it. And what I discovered after I came to myself, and what I want all of you to remember that I said is this. Because I was broke, I thought I was poor. And what I write about in my book, and what we teach in the workbook, you don't have the workbook, but you can get it after you read the book. What I write about in my own story was that I really learned, bottom line, that there's a difference between being broke and being poor. Now, if you look at the data suggests black people are broke. Most of us are 2 paychecks away from homelessness. Most of us don't have enough saved for retirement. You're going to hear from a young couple from First Baptist that has more money retired at 35 than most of us have at 65. Because they read the Dfree book when it first came out. They'll testify. Most of us couldn't live 3 months if we were unemployed. Most of us have inadequate money for retirement, and so we don't work till we die because we're excited. We work till we die because we're broke. Most of us are wearing more money on our backs than we have in our savings accounts. And most of our children know more about what they want than what they need. We're broke. I was broke. I was making decent money, but I was broke. When you are living above your means, paying your bills late consistently, paying high interest rates on credit cards, you are broke. And so I spent 8 years trying to get unbroke. And I thought for a long time I was poor because I was broke. But what I learned was there's a difference between being broke and being poor. Being poor is when you got to walk 2 miles in Egypt to the Nile River to get water in a bucket to take back to your family to use. That's poor. To be poor is to live in Haiti, and 4 years after the earthquake, you still live in a tent. That's poor. To be poor is to have access to resources and won't use them. One of my buildings, I have a number of tenants who have been thoroughly screened, and their rent is paid by Section 8. It's good for me. The first real estate I owned where there were tenants, there was no Section 8. I'd go to pick up the rent, on the 3rd, 4th of the month. And one lady told me, I went there on the 5th. And she said, how you doing, Mr. Sories? I said, fine. She said, what you doing around here? I said, I'm coming to get my rent. She said, well, it's the 5th of the month. And I said, well, it was due on the 1st. She said, I had it on the 1st. I had it on the 1st. She said, you didn't come. So now my rent money is wired into my account on the first, it's there. I don't have to worry about, you know, I mean, it's for me as an owner, as an investor, it's good. But a couple of my tenants have been waiting 15 years for Section 8. Can you imagine being on a waiting list for Section 8 for 15 years? That means your income eligibility has remained the same for 15 years. Who wants to be on a waiting list for Section 8 for 15 years, and then when you get it, some folk treat it like it's the lottery. You want to leave it for your children. I said to my tenants, listen, you know, this is good for me, but I'm not sure it's that good for you. How long do you want to be income eligible for Section 8? I can bring some of my people in here. I'll come, and we're going to help you increase your income. And one woman said, well, Reverend, if my income is increased, my Section 8 goes down. That's the point. But in her mind, she'd rather have maximum Section 8 benefits than to make more money than she needs. That's poor. Black people in Texas spend $1 billion a year on lottery tickets. I'll back up. Blacks in Texas spend $1 billion on lottery tickets. 1.6 million black people spend an average of $57 a month on lottery tickets. When you spend $57 a month on a game where the odds of winning are 175 million to 1, you're poor. And what we're involved in now, all across the country, I was in Indianapolis on Thursday. We've got about 50 churches doing Dfree in Indianapolis. I was in D.C. yesterday. Montgomery County is doing a countywide revival in October, and the follow-up to the revival all over the county is to help people go through the Dfree curriculum. What the principle is this: we are not broke because we're poor. We are poor because when we were broke, we thought we were poor. Not having what you want is not a crime. Not using what you have is the crime. And what I realized was that I was broke, but I was poor because I wasn't like my grandmother. My grandmother died in 1981, sixth grade education, invalid husband, 6 children, black woman in New York, born in 1901. And when she died, she owned 3 houses, paid for. Paid for. 6th grade education. Her only marketable skill was she was a seamstress, but when she died, she owned a house in upstate New York with 23 bedrooms. She owned a brownstone in Brooklyn, 5-story. She owned a 4-family house in Brooklyn, which is the house that I inherited where the woman wouldn't pay me my rent. And I said to myself, 1981, by then I was already somebody, college graduate, on TV, living large, driving Cadillacs, and broke. And I said, if my grandmother could die with no education, a black woman, no civil rights, and own 3 pieces of property paid for, then shame on me if all I leave when I die is credit card bills. I was not poor. I was broke. And we are not poor. We buy 40% of all the scotch made in America to my black people. We wear the most expensive clothing. We go where we want. Beyonce's coming to town on the 17th. We will be there. We all own iPhones. Our kids wear Nike. I did a panel for Walmart during Black History Month, and the other panelist with me was a black woman who deals with hair. And her report, I didn't say this, her report was that now black women are spending over a lifetime between $25,000 and $125,000 on hair. I have no problem with hair as long as you got a bank account. Who wants more money on their head than they have in their pocket or in their bank account? And until we stop believing that the government's going to save us, listen, if the government was going to save us, don't you think it would have happened by now with Barack Hussein Obama being president? If Obama didn't bail us out, you know Hillary's not going to bail you out. And you know the third bush ain't going to bail you out. So what you're going to hear from our people and what you'll read in my book is this: there is a way out. And it doesn't matter where you are financially. It doesn't matter how much money you do or don't have. If you don't have a plan and don't have a strategy and don't understand the challenges of money, then you are poor. And here are the challenges. Challenge number one is to avoid spending money. You read the full explanation in the book here. The first challenge is to stop spending money in a compensatory way, meaning spending money for significance, spending money to feel better about yourself. You know, the boss makes you mad, and so you go shopping. The boyfriend stands you up, and you call your girls and say, we need some retail therapy.
This is the truth.
Don't have any money, any credit at all, but go to the mall anyway to go window shopping. You already have windows. You don't need to go window shopping. That's spending for significance. The second challenge we have to overcome is compensatory spending. Spending for is conspicuous consumption. Spending for status. I looked up one day and realized every shirt I had, Adrian, in my closet had a picture of a man on a horse holding a stick. Every shirt. In fact, some of my underwear had the man, and my socks. And then I realized, I went down to Joseph A. Banks and realized I could get the same shirt for $40 less. Same cotton, same color, same buttons. Take that man off that shirt, and you save $40. And I started multiplying, 40 plus 40 plus 40 plus 40. Take that logo off that bag, you got yourself a good bag. Michael Kors can't touch a bag that costs $50 and does the same thing. And I had to come to my senses. I said to myself, first of all, I'm spending more money than I should. Secondly, psychologically, why would I spend money to buy a shirt that had a picture of a man on a horse holding a stick playing a game I don't even understand? I've never been to a polo match in my life. I barely understand hockey. But we've been tricked into labels. It's not just us, but black families can't afford the trick because the median net worth of a white family in America is about $120,000. For us, it's $6, depending on what study you read, $6,000 to $9,000. So we can't afford status. This jacket has 3 buttons on it. The new style is 2. But this jacket works. You think I'm gonna stop wearing this jacket because somebody in Italy said wear 2 buttons? I'm gonna wear these 3 buttons until the jacket falls off my back. Because I don't need you to define me by my jacket. And I certainly don't define myself by my jacket. I define myself by my net worth. And if my assets are going up and my jacket gets old, then tough. And the final thing is confused consumption, which is just stupid spending. We just spend money in a stupid way. It's just stupid. I can shine my own shoes every week, and I can save $500. Just shine my own shoes. You can do your own nails. All right, I'm leaving. I'm leaving right now. So this book tells you my story of how I got from poverty to where I am, even though it doesn't tell you exactly where I am, because that's none of your business either. And the workbook tells you how. This will help you dream, and this will help you scheme. This will broaden your perspective, and this will give you the tools that you need to get there. And I pray that before you leave here today, you will make a commitment to go someplace you've never been and do something you've never done so that you can have something you've never had. God bless you.